Hi Mark, welcome to the Franchise Marketing Show. It's good to have you. For those that don't
Good to be here.
For those who don't know who you are, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and your franchise?
My name is Mark Wheway, and I'm the franchisor of and the franchise owner of Magical Maths. We run super fun after school clubs for primary school children, and it's a real kind of growth industry at the moment. Obviously, parents with the need to work, until the end of the day, they're always looking for childcare, and we obviously provide that, but we provide it in like a fun way, with something slightly different to some of the other franchise models out there, which are much more attuned to kind of helping the children with their maths and trying to lift them up a maths set or getting ready for the 11 plus or whatever it is. We just want to engage the children in maths. We want to make it super fun. We come dress up as different characters. The main character is Professor Poopenstinkin, the maths genius, but we come as the maths detective, the maths magician, and it just makes it super fun for the children. So it gets them engaged in the subject, gets them really enjoying it. And at that age, that's absolutely crucial, for them to build their confidence in maths. And that's where the parents sort of see that kind of niche, so they see there's an educational value to it, but they want their children to be more engaged, to find it more fun, not to put the barriers and the walls up against it. And the children, when they've done a long day at school, they just want to have fun. So we go in and we do these maths days and 15 minutes each of the classes to promote ourselves to the children, which is obviously our clientele. And they absolutely love it, and they go running home with invitations in hand. So I want to join Professor Poopenstinkin and Magical Maths next term. And the parents are like, where do we sign? So we break records everywhere we go with the amount of sign-ups we get.
That's really good. How did you get into that, Mark?
We used to run a pub together, myself and my wife, and we sold our pub about 11 and a half years ago now, and we were actually walking down the aisles of Olympia 11 years ago, almost to the week, and we were accosted by Colin and Jenny Bradford, who were the original founders of Magical Maths, and it was their first show, and we ended up being their first franchisees.
Oh, wow.
So we trained up with them back in 2014 May. We trained with Colin and Jenny, and like I said, we were their first franchisees, and we were always their most successful, and we kind of pushed the boundaries a little bit. We went a bit rogue on certain things, as long as it was over and beyond the level of the brand that had been set. Colin and Jenny seemed quite happy for us to trial different things, as long as it wasn't detrimental to the brand in any way. So we found our best way of doing things and a way to make the most money and be the most profitable and successful at it. And 4 years ago, we were in a position to actually buy the company. So we're now the franchisors, and now our network are obviously benefiting from the 7 years that we were just franchisees and all the lessons that we learned in that period. So we spent the first 2 years after we bought the company rejigging the content, delivery, the marketing, the recruitment, everything from top to tail. We looked at the whole business inside and out and found the best way to deliver these brilliant clubs. And now we've started growing again. We started marketing ourselves and trying to grow the network. About 18 months ago we started that, and we're now up to I think we've got 14 franchisees around the country now, and our target is to get to 20 by the end of the year.
That's brilliant.
So
what kind of person are you looking for to join the franchise? Like, who makes
We're looking obviously for an ambitious and motivated person. It may be somebody perhaps that's come out of teaching for whatever reason. We got a few ex-teachers that have made very successful franchisees, where they wanted they didn't want all the marking and the red tape and all the things that go along with being a teacher, but obviously they've only joined that industry because they love being with children and watching those light bulb moments and having those moments with children, the reason why they joined teaching. So we can kind of provide that, and obviously the cornerstone of anybody running a good business in our business is they've got to deliver great clubs. That's so important, how they deliver it, how much fun they make these clubs is so crucial to the development and the growth of their business. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for sort of big personalities, people that can, motivate a team to go in and run these clubs, because obviously you're only employing people for 3, maybe 4 hours a week. So it's not like a full-time career job for a lot of these students and sixth formers that tend to make up the majority of our sort of session leader force. So we're looking for characters, we're looking for people with personalities that have drive, energy, enthusiasm, and that are ambitious. Clearly, one thing we found from the way that we market our clubs is that finding business is never a problem. So they can we're looking for ambitious people because they can grow and they can be as successful as they want to be. But clearly, if they don't start with that level of ambition and success in their mind of a place they want to be, they're always going to just tick along and do okay. You know, it's an easy business to do that, and some of our franchisees are very happy doing that. You know, it's a secondary income. Maybe their husband, for instance, is the main breadwinner, and you know, they're not necessarily under that pressure to be, you know, to take it to new heights. But our ambition as franchisors is to take on franchisees that are ambitious, that want to push the brand out there and want to be as successful as they can, you know, as they can be, and for us to give them all the tools to deliver those levels and those ambitions for them.
Yeah, and do they have to like maths?
We often get asked that. I mean, some of my most successful session leaders at Magical Maths in our home county territory still are trying to pass their GCSE maths. So you don't necessarily have to be, you know, like an A-level. You know, I mean, we're not talking division of fractions and algebra here. I mean, it's much more simple. Yeah, much more simple addition, and as long as you've got a reasonable grasp of times tables, you're normally pretty good. I mean, basically, our main clientele, if we're honest, is year 1 to 4. So yes, we do Key Stage 1 and 2, and Key Stage 2 does go up to 11-year-olds in year 5 and 6, 10, 11-year-olds. But the majority of our Key Stage 2 clubs would be year 3 and 4. So the maths is not hugely challenging. So you don't. Obviously, you know, it clearly helps if you do like numbers because you're going to be working with them. Yeah. But you know, a lot of our games are sort of, I don't know, like mathematical duels, like on Harry Potter, where they wear the wizard hat and the cape and have the wand in hand and 3 paces like a duel, and you ask a mathematical question like, what's 2 squared? 4. The first person to zap with the answer gets a point for their team. So it's not necessarily that heavy on the mathsy side. What we're selling to the children is this is going to be fun. We get children, shall I do street dance, football or magical maths? I want to do magical maths, so I know it's going to be more fun than football or street dance. So that's kind of where we pitch ourselves. Yeah. And that's why we break records everywhere we go. I mean, we're in 4 schools in the head office area at the moment where we've got over 100 children signed up for a term-long club. Brilliant. In 1 school. So we walk in there with 4 Professor Bubenstinkens, 4 assistants, all with a white Einstein wig and lab coat, and we take 4 classrooms and go and run 120 kids.
That's really good.
And next door there's 6 kids doing Lego.
I like Lego.
Who would be very jealous.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, but obviously the numbers, you know, come from us appealing to the children and getting them to realise that we have a lot of fun with numbers, you know, and that's where we pitch ourselves.
Yeah. So in terms of a franchisee who comes into the network, what kind of support can they expect from yourself? Well,
basically we do like a 4-day intensive training at head office in Hertfordshire. That will introduce you to all the systems. You get all the templates, all the access to all of the Google Drive, all the G Suite and everything. You got obviously your own email address. All the marketing material will then be printed with all your details on it, your contact numbers and email address, etc. We will then hold your hand through the initial marketing period. We guarantee you to get a school a day and a minimum of 200 children signed up across those 5 schools for the following term. We only train 3 times a year. We train in April to start in September. We train new franchisees in September to start in January, and January to start after Easter in April. Right, okay. So we're quite sort of strict on that, because if you start training in May, you're not going to have enough time to do the marketing you need to do to score the maths days to then start in schools in September. And for us to be able to guarantee those sort of numbers, you know, basically it's guaranteeing you 200 children at £9 a session, £99 for a term-long club, which is what we charge the parents. So that's basically like 20 grand a turnover. Yeah. So your training is very intense in that first 4 days. You then come and see clubs with us after your training on each of those days, so you get a really good feel of how it's delivered, how best to deliver it in the clubs. So you would go with Catherine and myself into these clubs directly, and then beyond that, on the 4th day, we actually come and do what we call a video card drop run, which is how we market the schools. And I would actually come and do that run with you to the 10 schools that we'd identified in your area, and then we score a minimum of 3 out of 10 out of those. So between that run and another run, which you do 2 weeks later, you then score your 5 schools minimum. You might score 6 or 7, you then put 2 of them onto the following term, so you'd hold them back. So we'd only recommend that the new franchisees incoming would only do one school a day. So they go in and manage that relationship with the school. They pick up the 2 or 3 students that they need to run those 2 classrooms, which is what we target. And then you do a minimum of 200 children in that first week and for the 11 weeks. Okay, we do master classes 3 times a year, for our franchisees where we drill into new ways of marketing or whatever it is. We're always looking at new revenue streams for the incoming franchisees, and obviously we provide training for all of those. There's never any extra cost if we provide an extra revenue stream. We don't expect the franchisee to pay any more than their initial fee, which we're quite sort of proud of, so they know there's no hidden costs if we want to bolt on something extra. We've just started these Magical Maths roadshows where we go into schools that are in slightly less privileged areas with the demographics probably wouldn't warrant marketing ourselves to do a full termly or a half termly club, and so we would then market to the school, where the school actually pay £4 a student, and the student gets a clear wallet with all the Magical Maths booklets and things to take away, so they get a take home, they get a little sticker with the Magical Maths free log-on details to Magical Maths Online, so when they get home the parents will log them up online to Magical Maths Online for free. And we go and do a maths day as if we were promoting for an after-school club, but we're just making maths fun. We're raising the profile of maths, making it super fun, come and dress up as different characters, spend the whole day there, and we charge £4 a child for that to the school. And the school pay for that out of their central pupil premium funding. Yeah. So it's, and we've done 4 or 5 of these just now, and we've got our AGM, where are we? In 4 weeks' time. Okay. Yes, on the 1st of March, our AGM. And that's what we're going to. That's when we're going to unveil this new revenue stream. So the franchisees could potentially make £1,000 a day after all costs if they're doing a 2-form entry school that they wouldn't normally be able to get any money from, because it would be a school that we wouldn't be targeting for an after-school club.
Yeah, so it's a win-win for the children as well,
and also for the schools in those less advantaged areas that have quite a large pot to spend on things like this, to raise profile of STEM subjects, for instance. Yeah. So we're hoping that's going to be really, really successful for the franchisees.
Sounds really good. Yeah, it sounds like a really valuable way of encouraging those children from the...
No, definitely. Well, that's it. I mean, we're trying to make Magical Maths all-inclusive. We want to be able to bring it to every child. We want every child to experience how fun maths can be, and it's a fantastic brand. Obviously, we clearly believe in wholeheartedly, and it's something that we're just so proud of how many children it's helped to really enjoy their maths, and that's what the cornerstone of the business is. We want our franchisees to really care about the impact that they're having, about how they're helping children to enjoy their maths more. They're breaking those walls and barriers down, and that just gives you a really warm feeling, when you're doing something that's obviously ultimately successful, but is actually helping children in a way as well. So it's, like you said, it's like a win-win really.
So you've got children yourself.
Yes,
I've seen your son walking around.
Yes, that's him. Actually, my other son, who's like 9 years old, we had like an 11-year gap, myself and my wife, between, we had Daniel and Poppy quite close together, they're 21 and 20. And then we had little Ashton, who's just turned 9, so we had like an 11-year gap. We thought we were quite older, having a couple of kids in our mid-30s, and then we had one in our mid-40s. So, but he's walking around with a magic cape on, and a magic hat, and doing a bit of mind reading for the for the people in the aisles.
So have they come through? Because obviously you had the franchise.
Yeah, I mean we basically bought the franchise like 11 years ago. I mean, I remember Poppy and Daniel when they were sort of 9 and 10 years old, helping us to stick down the envelopes, and we used to like mark it on a mail shot, and they'd be like writing out the envelopes with us, heads falling at 10 o'clock at night, terrible parents, child labour. So they've kind of seen the business, really from when, from its inception to where we are now. And so, I mean, they feel a real kind of closeness to the brand and to what we try to do, and it was an amazing moment when we were able to buy the company 4 years ago, and it was one of those moments that that we celebrate as a family, and they'd kind of come along the journey with us. So to kind of get to that point now, when they see that the brand is growing nationally, and they're obviously incredibly sort of proud, but we're so proud of them that they've kind of helped to shape and mould it as well. And Daniel is actually he's one of our newest franchisees. He's basically taken over a territory in North East London and around Loughton, that area. And some of the franchisees in the network have looked at what we do in our head office territory, like 1,000 kids a term, and they're like, yeah, we can never do that. So we kind of want to drive Daniel to kind of show that it's not just because we're the head office territory. We've obviously got a big pool of staff, etc. So Daniel's gone in there, and he did it exactly as it said on the tin, did a school a day. He got, I think, 245, 250 children signed up in his first term across 5 schools, just as we said to do it. Took on a team of 5 or 6 students to help him. One of them was absolutely brilliant, this guy Kai, he's been an absolute legend for him, in fact. And he now has enabled him to grow in his second term to doing 8 schools. So Kai runs 3 of the schools, slightly smaller schools, for him, while he does the 5 big schools on a Monday to Friday. And he's now had 370 children signed up. So I think he needs about 320 or so, he was telling me this, to do 1,000 children in his first year.
That's really
next term, which is amazing. And so to turn over nearly 100k in his first year, and he's 21.
That's brilliant.
And he's done that with sort of 7 or 8 students. He has a real laugh with it. He really enjoys doing what he does, but he really cares. He delivers great clubs.
You can see, I can see when he's walking around, I've seen him engaging with some of the children that.
But he clearly obviously has a complete belief in the product, which obviously helps whenever you're trying to sell anything. But it's a brand that we're very proud of, and we feel like we really helped to develop right from the off. And,
I think it's nice as well, because obviously you'll be working with children and families and that kind of thing, but for your own family to be such an integral part of that.
No, definitely. We've always been a very close family, and we've always involved our children in everything that we've done. And so to have them kind of come along this journey with us, and even my daughter's here today, and she's just made us grandparents actually. So she gave birth to this beautiful.
Congratulations.
Beautiful Lily Rose back in early December, and so we're now grandparents.
Oh, lovely.
So we're quite. Always felt like quite old parents, but I feel like quite young grandparents, which is quite nice. So.
At what age will she be doing magic maths?
Yeah, I know. So we've got a potential new session leader in about 15 years. But no, I mean, both of Daniel and Poppy have always loved magical maths. They've been session leaders to me for 3-4 years. So to see Daniel now sort of push on and get his own territory and do exceptionally well, it's just great to see. Really nice.
It definitely is. I mean, it just goes to show that a franchisee doesn't need to be someone in their 30s, 40s. It can be someone in their 20s.
Yeah, no, exactly right. As long as you've got that drive and ambition, who's to say you can't, take on a team of students yourself and motivate them, get them running great clubs for you, and then you can have a strong business.
Yeah, definitely.
And all the teachers love Daniel. He goes into school, they're like, oh, Daniel. I had quite a funny situation recently where I always go in and run like the busiest Key Stage 2 clubs that there are. So I'll take like the biggest school, and I'll go, just to sort of keep my hand in, I'll run 5 clubs a week. And I was running this club, and Daniel started doing his maths days. I always used to do the maths days with Catherine, where we go and do the 15 minutes presentation each of the classes, get the children really excited. So of course sometimes I wouldn't turn up to actually run the club, and the children would be a little bit disappointed. So Catherine, Professor Poopenstinkens with the little Poopenstinkens, so you have to put up with me. Okay, by the time they've done a session or 2, they've forgotten who I was, but they're kind of expecting to see me initially. Anyway, I went into this school, and normally year 5 and 6, it's not so attuned to. We normally get about 70-80% year 3 and 4s in Key Stage 2, 15-20% year 5 and 6s. Anyway, looking down the register of this school, Auburn City actually, and there was about 25 or 26 Key Stage 1s. Year 1 or 2, there was 27 year 3 and 4s, and there was 28 year 5 and 6s, and I was sort of quite, that's really interesting. Daniel, what do you do down there? So anyway, I've walked in to run this club. It's obviously quite a big club, and the year 5 and 6 is normally sort of a little bit more challenging, perhaps, shall we say. And I walked in, and there's and out of these 28 children signed up for year 5 and 6, 25 of them are girls.
Girl power.
I know, and I've walked into this class, and they all look really disappointed. And it suddenly dawned on me, they were expecting to see Daniel walking in there, and they seen the old guy, me, walking in there, and they're like, oh, no, really? Anyway, they're all really enjoying it, it's great, but no, it was just quite funny. So I looked around at the demographics of my class, and I'm like, hold on, there's like 3 boys and 25 girls. So anyway, we'll have to remember that. Daniel, the secret weapon for the year 5 and 6s.
Yeah, that's... When I was a teenage girl, I was
You'd have been looking at that. I want to do this club. What is it, maths? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll sign there. Brilliant. Mum, Dad, must do this.
It just
But,
goes to show, doesn't it, that people buy from people even
exactly
at a young
right.
age.
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
So, Mark, if someone wanted to join the Magic Mask franchise, how would they go about it?
Basically, they just need to come and see us. Normally what we do is we kind of set up like a sort of an initial Zoom call, just to kind of get to know that person, the person's interested, give them a little bit more detail about what we do, a little bit more sort of meat on the bones, and then beyond that, we then organise for them to come and do a discovery day. We'd obviously send them over an info pack at that stage, which drills down into the earning potential and all the kind of thing. Yeah, so that would be the kind of the first stage. If they were still interested after seeing the info pack, wanted to find out a little bit more, then we get them to book up for what we call a discovery day. And the discovery day is where they kind of sign an agreement with us, so to protect our intellectual property. But basically, that's at the point where we open everything up. And just to let you know, we've done 7 discovery days in the last year, and all 7 of those are now franchisees. So anybody that comes and does a discovery day, they buy a franchise, because it is just incredible. And when you open everything up, and obviously it's at that stage where we show you all the marketing, how we go about it, how we recruit, how we train, all of the portals that we've created that we're so proud of. The parent portal, the staff training portal, the apps, the things that the staff will have on their phone, how we monitor that. All of the stuff that we've done with our franchisee hats on, if you like, just to make it completely watertight as to how to run a great business, how to deliver great clubs. So that would be the next stage. Then beyond that, we obviously really encourage them to come and see a club. We actually bolt that onto a discovery day now.
Okay.
So we actually take them to a club on the day that they do the discovery day. So they do like a 10 till 2. We host it at this Aubrey Park Hotel in Harpenden. And literally they come in and we just do it one-on-one. We don't get more than one couple or individual, whatever. And we do a 4-hour presentation with them, including the Q&A and everything. Then we take them to a club to see a club in action. So they can see just how much fun the children have, how much they enjoy it. And then beyond that, we give them the contact details of all of our networks, so they can contact any franchisee, because we want them to speak. We want them to hear first-hand experiences on the ground. Whether it's a mother of 2 that's still just doing a club a day in Portsmouth, or whether it's someone, that we've got a guy Tim up in Nottinghamshire, Leicestershire, who's smashing out the park, who's nearly doing as much as our own head office. You know what I mean? So there's lots of different stories around, but we want them, but everyone's happy. And I want anybody incoming to feel that, to get that genuine feel of like, I want to join this family. You know what I mean? Because that's what it is. Yeah. And then beyond that, obviously, then we talk about, like a time frame in terms of, funding, whether they've got that in place or how we can help with that. And obviously, beyond that, when they want to train and when they want to be in clubs, and then we get all that scheduled up, get a whole timeline done for them. If they need any business plans, done for them in terms of achieving the funding, if they're going down the government, start-up loan route or whatever it is they're choosing. So we help them, we hold their hand with, along that process until they start training with us, and then it's off and running. And then literally, there's a nice timeline of where they train. We do the marketing. They book in the maths days. Then there's a holiday, and then they start their clubs. So they've got about between 2 and 3 months, maybe even more, between when they train with us and when they're actually going to go into a classroom with their team and manage these clubs, and deliver these clubs.
Yeah.
So it's a nice kind of, it's a nice relaxed entry to it, and we hold your hand through the whole process.
Yeah.
All the marketing, all the delivery of it.
Yeah. I was just going to say, it sounds like a really supportive network.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like the old people that we bought the network from, they didn't want the franchisees talking together. So even though we had a lot of great ideas, because we've been doing it so long, we're so successful, we weren't allowed to kind of share that. It was that kind of culture of, so, we used to meet these people once a year at an AGM, and that was the only time we'd ever see them. We'll get on well, but that'd be it,
Yeah.
And so one of the first things we did when we bought the company and became the franchisors was we started like a WhatsApp group, so and like every day everyone's like just putting things out there, because obviously myself and my wife, we're part of a couple, so we got each other, but there's plenty of franchisees out there feel a little bit lonely, they're kind of by themselves, so when they got a problem they just needed that kind of forum just to shell it out, or what do you do if this, or my insurance run out, have you tried anyone else other than this, or just kind of general helpful things, but everyone just helps each other, and it's just bringing that culture of being part of something, being part of a lovely network, So and we're really kind of proud of that now. And we've got some lovely people that have joined us since we started selling the franchise the last 2 years. And the network's really strong now. It's full of really, really good quality, lovely people.
Yeah, it sounds really good. I mean, I tend to work more with words than numbers, but I kind of wish I had something like that when I was, when I was younger.
Yeah, I've so many parents say to me, well, where was this when I was a kid?
Exactly.
I'd have loved this. I would have ended up hating numbers like I did.
Yeah. But it sounds like you did a whole culture reset as well as like establishing that family kind of feel about it.
Well, we kind of run it like, because we've been franchisees for so many years, we wanted to use all that we learned, to how we wanted to be treated, treat others how you want to be treated. And so we created that, we look at everything from a franchisee point of view, rather than from a franchisor point of view, we look at everything and that's enabled us to help these people to become more successful franchisees because we look at it from through their lenses, if you like, through their eyes. And that's, I think, hopefully what's helped us become good franchisors without having really any experience at being franchisors. We had nothing, we knew nothing about franchising. We used to run pubs and restaurants together, myself and my wife. So we just came here and thought, well, we're hard workers. We got a bit of marketing savvy, and I came here looking for, I think it was U-Move back in the day, like 11 years ago. I wanted to buy one of these estate agency franchises. And then Catherine got across to my Colin and Jenny, and the rest is history. We've only been here half an hour. I said, right, let's go. I said, what do you mean? He said, this is it. I want to do. I found what I want to do. I said, you're not even that good at maths. So we ended up as their first franchisees. But it's a nice story, to kind of come full circle. And you say I was a franchisor of Magical Maths, a brand we've always loved. So it's great.
I do think it's a really nice story. I think you've got a lovely family, like from what I've seen of you at the shows. So Mark, just remind us, what if someone is interested in the franchise, what's the website that they can visit?
Basically if you go onto the www.magicalmathsclub.com, that's our main website. Obviously that's for the parents to book up, but obviously there's tabs on the top, what we do, who we are, meet the franchisees, become a franchisee, so all the contact details are there. Just drop us a line. You can request an info pack actually on there, I think. So all those links are all in place and good to go. If not, just give me a call. Am I allowed to give my number or not?
Yeah.
My number is 07734 733 240. Ask for Mark or Catherine, and we can get a meeting organised over Zoom, and then hopefully get you down for a discovery day to open up this wonderful brand too. Anyway, thanks very much.
Thank you.